Well, we're all getting big old boxes delivered to our houses, and we all have like Ring doorbells, right? So I'm out at the lake or out of town, and the Ring goes off, and I go, oh no, we're having a box delivered that will be stolen off our front porch, because I can watch the Amazon guy or lady come up and put the box down, and I go, would you, I'm sitting there screaming into my phone, would you please just put it where no one can see it? No, we've got to put it in front of the front door. The obvious solution to that is to provide them someplace that they can put it without a problem, without thinking about it. That's why I invited our next guest and my co-host, Steve Lawton. Our first guest today is Jeff Kudis. He is the owner of MB Sentinel. They do mailboxes just for the problem I described. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thanks for having me on.
How are you?
I'm doing fantastic.
That's fantastic. Good morning, Mr. Lawton. How are you, sir?
I'm awesome. It's hot, and that's my business.
That's right. It's hot outside, but you're not.
Yes.
So, Jeff,
King of cool.
King of cool. You are cool, dude. You're cool, dude.
Thanks.
So, Jeff, we have entered this whole new world. And I know it's not just since COVID. I've had this discussion for years. Years and years ago, people were wanting us to put in lockable mailboxes because of mail theft. But now it's turned into packages. And so the world's changed a whole lot I know people that don't leave the house. They order everything online. So tell us about MB Sentinel and what got you going and what got this idea in your head, your silly head.
Right.
That you needed to build these boxes. It's a fabulous idea.
I tell you, Alex, it's I find myself here about 4 years in, pushing through startup, entering the growth stage. And a little backstory, I actually operated natural health product retail stores for, right around 17 years. So back in the 90s, when the first person came to my store and said, hey, don't worry about it if you don't have it. I don't need you to take a special order. I'm just going to go order it online. Right. And I was like, and that's during the days of dial-up.
Right.
And I told my folks, because we're a family operation, I said, we're going to have to really think about this one day. And my folks were like, no, they'll never out-service us. Well, you know what? It's amazing where we're at today, and COVID has just lit a fire under this thing. We're going straight vertical on package delivery. Even the people that weren't comfortable buying packages online, they've been forced to now that they were really concerned about their health and not having contact. So,
well, you know who's making you successful are the thieves.
I
think you should. I think you should give a big shout out to the bad guys.
To
hello, bad guys. Thank you so much.
Yeah. I tell you what. Originally, though, the idea wasn't, to combat package theft. I'm at home. I've lost a business of 17 years. I'm trying to figure out what I'm going to do next with my life. I'm hanging on to the last piece of my gig, selling vitamins, and I realized, wow, all these packages that are coming to my home. I hadn't been home in 17 years. You guys know, as business owners, you don't spend a lot of time at home when a business owns you, right?
So, no.
So especially during the day when
it's either the office or a bar.
Exactly. Yeah. Trying to figure out how we're going to get through tomorrow. But exactly. So I realized the mail. I thought, wow, these packages are coming in. After about 3 days in a row, the mail carrier's coming to my front door, and she wasn't able to place these items at our mailbox. And we have the longest driver in the world, but it's not a short one. I thought, my gosh, our poor mail carrier, boy, hasn't her life changed a lot.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, and I felt my heart went out. I said, somebody needs to reinvent the mailbox. And I just went like, oh my God, that's a crazy idea. And it never left me for about 3 months.
But the interesting thing, and the really impressive thing, honestly, is that a lot of us have great ideas, but it never makes it past the great idea part. Like you go to sleep.
Right.
Like you always have these flashes, you're laying in bed and you're going, man, if I could just, wow, what a great idea. And then you wake up, it's gone.
Yep.
But you, sir, took it to the next step. So how did you go from idea to a production?
Absolutely. So fortunately, I grew up in craft and sheet metal manufacturing and fabrication. I learned how to TIG weld at an early age. Gosh, 18, 19, I was working in a fab shop because I really didn't want the interaction of having to work in restaurant. I didn't really want to engage people a lot. I just loved being more introverted in my work, and I just loved craft.
Yeah, I can
so,
tell you're really
yeah.
introverted.
And that's
It's,
changed. That's retail brought that out, But yeah, that's not me now, right? But so I learned craft at an early age, and I had the resources to go back and find people to help me in design and start putting prototypes together.
That's really great. So but you've got to design it. So you've got
Right.
to have.
Oh, yeah.
As I was thinking about your product, I was thinking about how there's so many different shapes and sizes of boxes, so many different, like a gazillion different ways you could approach this.
Sure.
How do you get to that sort of happy middle ground, or is there a middle
Yeah.
ground on that?
So as business owners, we all have to take a look at things and really evaluate. We're going to spend our time to start looking at this. I thought, well, there's a lot of cheap products out there, and I don't want to have to compete with that.
Right.
So I start looking, well, is there room to enter the marketplace if there's really a need for this as a top level product? Because I want to be, if I'm going to start a new business, I want to make certain I can maintain that. So I thought, well, at worst case scenario, I want to at least be a custom mailbox builder. So let's see if we can achieve that. And I went out and I said, well, what's the size of a standard mailbox? We look at the brick ones. What are people used to looking at? And we just start just start trying to put this idea together to come up with an initial size. And then I went back and looked at what size packages are being delivered and try to get information on that to know that we'd have the capacity for it. So then once you start, you start one place, you go out and you talk to a lot of people and go through the integral part and ask a lot of questions and try to figure out what works for people. And
Right.
that's really what helped us the most, was just getting out and talking to our customers.
Yeah.
There's
At trade shows, yeah.
no doubt there's a lot of wasted
Oh,
space
my gosh.
when it comes to mailboxes. They build this beautiful brick
Right.
column with this small mailbox in it. So
Well,
there's
the other-
plenty of opportunity there to go a lot bigger.
And the other thing that as a contractor comes to my mind is it's got to be able to be installed and secured.
Right.
And so did you have to put a lot of thought into that? I mean, is it just simple as just putting 4 bolts in it, or is there more to it than that?
It really depends on the model. We have a variety of models that we offer, from standalone parcel pedestals that you can actually enclose with masonry finishes, all the way up to a recent, we developed some really cool wall hatch inserts. So it's a single door that needs to be anchored to the studs of a column. But
So then you get to you're talking about one that's freestanding, but let's talk about one that attaches to the house, because you made a really good point with me, and that's a security issue that you could have with that. So you can, I noticed on your website, you had some pictures of mail package boxes is really what they are, that go into the garage, maybe into the garage wall. Maybe if they're building a new home, they could design that in there so it fits. They can use your specs for that.
Yep.
Give me your thoughts on that.
Sure, Alex, thanks. For that specific item, we actually call that model the box gobbler.
Box gobbler, that's
So,
right.
Yeah,
that's
so
right.
we're hoping that goes as well as the
And
mailbox.
I thought
right?
you
So-
named that after my wife when I saw that.
Yeah, no, the box gobbler 1428. It's a fun name, easy to remember. That name will take you straight to our website, nbsentinel.com, which is kind of boring, but this product, it's a wall hatch, and it's a single door. You simply frame for it during the construction phase. You can see we have this up on the screen now, and it's 15 3/4 inches wide is the actual door, so it's not going to fit specifically between 2 wall studs that are on 16-inch centers. We initially went with that idea, but once we got to the actual opening that would allow, it really didn't accommodate the packages that we need. So when everyone thinks like, hey, let's mount this thing and make it work between 2 studs, well, guess what? That can happen. You can do that, but it's like buying a recliner that's too small.
It's a limitation.
Yeah, it doesn't solve
Yeah.
your problems.
Yeah.
So this size wall hatch at the size it is, it meets 85 to 90% of all packages shipped by Amazon. And it has a conveyor roller bottom, so it keeps them moving into the garage. And we actually have a new 3-foot conveyor. So if you're really one of those people that gets a lot of deliveries, we can almost turn your garage into a shipping center.
Well, a lot of us have front porch shipping centers.
Right.
And there's a lot of people that cruise the neighborhoods looking for those shipping centers. Give me your thoughts on the security part of this and how this works. I noticed you had some that had keypads on them.
Correct.
Is that for ease of delivery, or is that security, or is that all the above?
Actually, all the above. It depends on where you place, where do you live? If you live in a gated community and you have someone that's managing the front gate and you feel secure in your neighborhood, you may not need this electronic rotary latch that requires a keypad entry.
So explain to us what this is.
So it's the access controller. It's actually a keypad. You simply enter the code when you order on Amazon into the special instructions, or you can actually add your code to the secondary address line. So use box code 1234, for example. You enter that code, it actually operates.
You add it to your secondary address line, and they know to look for it as
Right.
the box code. Because
That's
I
right.
noticed that I've been getting some, I don't know, emails or letters or something from Amazon about or maybe it's FedEx, and they're saying, do you want special instructions on where to leave boxes? It impressed me when I saw your product, because this has become really forefront even with the delivery companies, and it should be,
Right.
because there's a lot of thievery going on out there. There's people that make a living just driving up and down our streets,
Absolutely.
grabbing stuff.
And Alex, to your point, that's very true. And a lot of people, as you mentioned earlier, they're using these video doorbells, to watch
Right.
what's happening on their front porch, but they can really do nothing about it. So with our product, we've actually made
You
provision.
can yell at them.
You can yell at them. You can yell at them, right?
You can bark like a dog. That's
Right.
what I generally
I've got a
do.
missile launcher attached to mine.
Right.
Bark
right.
like a dog or rattle like a rattlesnake.
That's right. That's right. But our products, since they're made of aluminum, it's very easy to integrate. It's an integrator's dream with all the back history I've had in working in craft. I've really worked hard for the people that are integrators. If they wanted to add a video doorbell to this unit, or if they want to integrate it with an IP camera, it's a product that's very easy to work with, and we like to say it integrates with virtually any security system. In the early days of startup, we actually were developing an IoT device, but I can assure you that most people that I speak with, they don't want this connected to the internet. I mean, it's better just to put a camera.
In case somebody else can get.
That's right. So
Very
for the people that are
interesting.
very IT savvy, they're like, this access controller is perfect, and it's the most secure way. It could take either from a 4 to 6-digit code. So sometimes less is more in this day of technology. So put a video doorbell on this thing, you got a full solution.
Well, I think with what's been going on lately, less is more is probably the optimal plan.
So I'm curious, Jeff, your mailboxes, I assume, are designed in a way that the lock that goes on those meets the U.S. mail specs?
Yeah, honestly, Steve, to answer your question specifically, I started with a 25-string email trying to get this thing USPS approved.
Yeah.
I can tell you that's a waste of time. I went all the way to people at Maryfield, Virginia, the contractors are there, and I've actually had, people in government tell me, just go out there and build that thing. And then the folks at UPS and the other major carriers are like, hey, we'll bring your API to you if enough people want to buy this thing. So the locks, it's not a Swift lock that the USPS approves, but I can tell you that USPS isn't making most of the deliveries anyway. But the carriers, we have had very little resistance to people wanting to use our box. And most people have no problem using a keypad code, but the lock itself is a rotary latch. I'm proud to say we
Well, and you
purchased
can't. Of course, I'm a low tech guy,
Right.
and so I always believe that tech's great, electronic locks are great, all that stuff's good when it
Right.
works.
That's right, when it works.
If it doesn't work, those of us that aren't techie,
That's right.
it's a big problem for us.
Absolutely.
Even having to replace the battery in it or something like that.
Yeah.
But again, not that it's critical to me, but let's say that you do have a USPS package. Do they have access to open it and put it inside there?
They will if they have the code, and typically they do.
Okay.
With USPS, it's the same carrier every day that's coming to your house.
Most of the time,
Most of the people have a relationship with those people.
Yeah.
And it's it really depends on your carrier. But I tell most everyone, just ask your postal supervisor. If they'll use the box. In very few cases have I had them refuse to use it. But we've even got these things. We're doing great in California.
Really?
So.
Oh, I'll imagine. Well, I just can't imagine there's a community. This wouldn't be a really super good idea. Let's talk a little bit about style and that type of thing.
Sure.
Are there options in style and finishes and colors and all of that?
Yeah, we're very close to the powder coating facility where we manufacture our products. So we have a lot of flexibility when it comes to color. we offer 15 different colors and hammered finishes, and I always recommend a hammered finish because it's just so durable. And this isn't.
Well, you can run into it with a car and
That's it.
nobody
Yeah.
knows.
And you're not going to trade this thing in like your car, right? So, but if we offer RAL custom finishes, and we really don't charge that more for a custom if somebody wants to match something.
So somebody has I doubt there could be a lot of warranty issues, but there could be some. It's
Right.
mechanical, so there's always something that can go wrong. What kind of a warranty do people expect on something like this?
Sure. On the actual mechanical features for the product in itself, it's not including scratches or abuse, of course, but it's
Right.
a 10-year warranty is what we typically offer.
Wow.
So it's 3 years beyond our competitors, and honestly, I think it's going to last way longer than that.
Uh-huh.
But all the electronics, those we warranty those 1 year based on the warranties that are actually offered by the manufacturers of those components. But I can assure you, the electronics for this thing, we actually manufacture the wire harnesses right here in Texas.
Are these
Yeah.
pretty much custom order?
We like to say that they're custom, but to most people they are because we're building them to their specifications on what they need based on do they need a lock, what color do they want it, what size box do they want, do they want it to be a dual door, or just a front loader device. So there's a lot of variations. We've got over 400 variations in how we can build some of our products just based on like 4 different models that we offer.
That's fascinating,
Yeah.
really. I mean, that's impressive, honestly. Now let's talk about kids in these mailboxes. Let's talk about kids
Sure.
opening them and climbing in them or doing something crazy. What are your thoughts there?
We do offer, there's on the wire harness, we haven't offered an actual exit button for a child to be inside this box. But I'll tell you, this is like your refrigerator, your dryer, your washing machine. It's something you need to be responsible with. I mean, don't give your code to your kids,
Right.
It's like
Right.
you need to know that it's not a toy, it's a tool. And you need to, be respectful of that. We like to say that when you think about the trade-off for this, it creates a safe space for your family to have these carriers come to your home. We don't always know who's approaching our house, but it does require some education. But for those people that want to add, like if you want to add an easy out button, we have the harness already wired for that, and it's easy to do.
Well, that's interesting.
So it's ready to go.
Good deal. Good deal.
It's not going to usually be a problem, I wouldn't think, if the box is locked.
Right. You could integrate whatever technology you want with this. You would know someone's in your box if you want to, and you could actually wire a component
Release
to
button.
release to open
I
it.
think the release
know.
button's a phenomenal idea, just like a release button in the trunk of a car.
Yeah.
It's already wired for that.
Yeah, my thought with kids is they do crazy things.
They do. It's no different
I mean,
than
that's what keeps us. That's why we all have gray hair.
stuffing your buddy
Thank
in a
you,
trash
kids. We
can at
appreciate
school.
it.
No, yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Oh yeah, that's probably the one thing you might scratch your head about. But I mean, gosh.
Oh, I don't.
fix
I don't
it.
think it's huge, but I think it. I think
Oh.
it needs to be discussed. And
Absolutely.
And I really love your product. I think that you're brilliant. You picked up a niche market, and I'm all about nichiness. I've always
you.
have been in my business career, and I wish you great success. I
Thank
think
you.
you're going to go a long way. I really appreciate it so much. Appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your product with
You
us.
guys.
Pleasure meeting you.
Hey, pleasure meeting both of you guys.
Yeah, thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. Thank you. Jeff Kutas, excuse me, with MB Sentinel. He's the owner. He's the big man. He's the dude. Give him a try if you're going to get a mailbox. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, Steve Lawton is going to share some wisdom from his many years on this earth. We'll be right back. Hey, don't forget to follow us on all your social media, like us on Facebook, subscribe and share on YouTube, and check us out on all your social media platforms. Don't forget to watch Remodel Revolution on your smart TV, on Texas Weather Tracker TV, on Roku, Android, Apple, and Amazon TV, Sundays at 1 and 3 p.m. Central Standard Time.